Hey, it's Mike. Welcome back to the channel. Today is our inaugural episode of a new series of shorts, MIJ Supplemental, where we discuss the finer points of Japanese guitar production. To kick things off, we have a pair of practically prototypical Jaguars, representative of Fender and pre-Fender offset guitar production at the Fuji Gen factory in Japan. The Fuji Gen factory was responsible for producing the majority of Fender Japan's instruments for their first 15 years, and the same factory had produced Greco branded instruments for decades prior. There are numerous details, large and small, cosmetic and sonically impactful, that differ between these two instruments, yet they were made by the same craftspeople at the Fuji Gen factory. This Fender Jaguar is from the first year of Fender Japan production, which was 1986 for offset instruments. That means that this is one of the very first Jaguars available since the USA-made models were discontinued in 1975. This Greco Jaguar, officially modeled JG700 from the Super Real line of instruments, only received a single catalog mention in 1980. Our 1986 Fender Jaguar is fairly standard in its feature set. It has an alder body, a maple neck with a slender C-shaped profile carve, veneer rosewood board, and perloid dot inlay. Plastics include a narrow bevel tortoise pickguard and black knobs, switches, and rhythm circuit rollers. Hardware is similarly standard, with a Fender embossed vibrato tailpiece, unbranded Kluson-style tuning machines, and threaded or spiral bridge saddles, although on this example, those have been replaced with more substantial brass saddles. Tone woods on our Greco Jaguar differ from the Fender branded example in that it has a sen ash body, similar to northern ash but harvested from forests in Japan. The ash body in itself is uncommon for a Jaguar, but what makes this model even more unique is the soft V-shaped neck profile carve. This is more analogous to a late 50s Fender, virtually unseen on a Jaguar. If you're not a typical V-neck fan, you probably won't be turned off by this Greco. It's fairly slender in its overall profile depth, and the fretboard edges are rolled as well. It has a really inviting feel. The neck on the Fender is really more of your standard early 60s slender C shape. Neck specs are otherwise remarkably similar between these two Jaguars. Both have veneer rosewood boards with 7 1/4 inch vintage spec radiuses, slender fret wire, and 1 5/8 inch nut widths. At the headstock end of things, the Greco has its own proprietary double-line Greco Deluxe tuning machines. These replicate an early Kluson Deluxe style gear. Of course, the headstock decal in itself is different, yet the Fender branded variety retains the black text with gold outline mirroring the Greco application. This exact logo on our Fender would be correct for a late 1960s Fender Jaguar, especially with the circled R registered trademark. Yet this logo style persisted on all Fender Japan Jaguars, especially early 60s style ones, for decades. One other nerdy note for Fender Japan. On the back of this guitar's headstock, it retains the small blue sticker denoting the price of yen when sold new. This guitar has a 70 sticker for 70,000 yen. Yet when it made it to the 86 catalog, Fender had already raised the price of the model, offering it at 75,000 yen. When it comes to plastics, the Greco JG700 has a couple unique features, including chrome-plated rollers on the rhythm circuit and a wide bevel, deep red tortoise pickguard. This pickguard is closer in appearance to an actual 1960s Fender guard than the Fender Japan model we have here today. Our Fender Japan Jaguar also has a unique pickguard, and this brown tortoise material was used on only the very first Fender Japan Jaguars, quickly shifting to a tomato soup red tortoise material. There aren't too many surprises when it comes to hardware, and the vibratos are very similar in their style and response. Of course, the Greco is missing the Fender branding. The electronics in these guitars are virtually identical, yet the instruments sound quite different. Both guitars have flat Alnico magnet single coil pickups wound in the 6K ohm range. And both guitars feature Japanese pots from the same manufacturer. While the Fender is very smooth, sparkling, and sweet, the Greco is notably more bold and authoritative. The ash body and weight of the Greco, almost a half-pound more than the Fender, certainly contribute to this difference. While both of these Jaguars are chasing the same aesthetics and tonal goals, and of course the Fender branding brought the model closer to its roots, there are still some small liberties being taken with its design. The Greco JG700 Jaguar is one of my favorite offsets in the shop right now, and its unique tone woods, neck carve, and aesthetics make it a model worth chasing despite its extreme rarity. And for all of the Fender Japan Jaguars we've had in the shop, we have never had a first-year example like the one we have here today. It was super fun to dig in and see what the earliest features looked like on this model. Thank you for following along with us on our inaugural episode of MIJ Supplemental. For more on our Greco and Fender Jaguars and everything else we have here at the Guitar Bar, please check out mmguitarbar.com and stay tuned for more content.